Good evening. Welcome to the April 27th, 2020 Montgomery Township Board of Supervisors meeting. I'm Tanya Bamford. I'm chair of the board. We're once again holding our board action meeting online as we continue to comply with Governor Tom Wolf's order to stay at home and do our part to flatten the curve during this pandemic. We thank you in advance for your patience as we attempt to conduct the business of the township in as transparent a manner as possible to comply with the state sunshine law. As in the past, our meeting agenda and packet were posted to the township website. Additionally, questions were able to be submitted in advance of the meeting via email, and there is a Q&A function for anyone who might have questions throughout the meeting who's tuned in to watch. Before we begin our meeting, I have a few quick announcements to make. First and foremost, we want our residents to know that our thoughts are with them during this really challenging time. Just 2 weeks ago, we mourned the loss of our first resident in the township to COVID-19. And today, I'm sad to inform you that we're up to 10 deaths and 103 positive cases throughout the township. Our hearts go out to all who have been affected. There are many people who are suffering in our township right now, not only from COVID-19 itself, but from the mental and economic hardship associated with the stay-at-home order. I want you to know that we have a page dedicated to providing you with resources that you need to get through this difficult time on our website. I encourage you to visit montgomerytwp.org, and there's a link at the top of the page for more information. Next, our primary election was moved to June 2nd, and registered voters can apply online for a mail-in or absentee ballot at votespa.com. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is May 26th, and given the current circumstances, I'd encourage you guys to try to take advantage of that as much as possible. Many of our township committees and commissions are going to resume having their meetings virtually, like we're doing this now, in May. So if you're a volunteer on one of those committees, look for an email about the meeting dates and times. These are also public meetings, and so if members of the public are interested in participating in those meetings, we'll be posting the links and more information on the township website. Again, that address is montgomerytwp.org. If you haven't completed the census, there is still time, and we really need every resident to be counted. Please visit my2020census.gov and make sure that you and your family are counted. I do have some happy news to share for the golfers in our community. Governor Wolf announced today that golf courses across the state can begin to reopen May 1st. Of course, you'll need to follow the CDC guidelines for social distancing, but I know that our friends over at Pinecrest Country Club will be glad to see the return of their members. And finally, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of the folks working on the front lines to keep us safe and well provisioned during the quarantine. From our first responders to our healthcare workers and every other category of essential worker who are all working so diligently to keep us safe and well stocked. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And now, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now Deb Rivas is going to do a roll call for us.
Thank you. Good evening. At this time, I'll take a roll call of the Board of Supervisors in attendance for the April 27th board meeting. Chair Tanya Bamford.
Present.
Vice Chair Matt Quigg.
Present.
Supervisor Candace Chimera.
Present.
Supervisor Annette Long.
Present.
Supervisor Beth Staub.
Present.
Thank you. In addition to the Board of Supervisors, the following individuals are also participating in our meeting tonight. Township Solicitor Robert I. Nosey, Township Manager Carolyn McCreary, Director of Planning and Zoning Bruce Shoup, Director of Public Works Kevin Costello, Chief of Police Scott Bendig, Director of Administration and Human Resources Ann Shade, Director of Finance Brian Shapiro, Director of Fire Services Bill Wegman, Director of Information Technology Rich Greer, Director of Recreation Floyd Schaefer, and Public Information Coordinator Kelsey Whalen. Before I turn the meeting back over, I'd just like to add one more bit of good news. As you know, we had to cancel the spring curbside leaf and yard waste pickup back in April 18th. We've been in contact with Republic Services, and we're pleased to announce that we're able to reschedule the curbside pickup. The plan will be a little unusual because they're going to do the pickup over a course of 4 days, starting on May 18th, and that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So residents will need to put their leaves out as they've done before in the biodegradable waste bags. Hopefully they can get them. That's Sunday evening on the 17th, but they're going to do a 4-day pickup. So it's going to roll through the township for COVID-19 safety guidelines. They're going to follow that. So we're happy to report that while everyone is home, they can go outside and gather up their leaves and get those picked up starting on May 18th. We'll put all of that out on our social media. In fact, I think Kelsey's already taken care of a lot of that just to get the word out to everyone. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Deb. That's fantastic news. So moving on to agenda item number 4, we've reserved this time for public comment. Persons wishing to make public comment during this meeting on any of the items not listed on the agenda may do so at this time, but public comment is also going to be provided following each item on the agenda using that Q&A function that we talked about earlier. If you're viewing our live board meeting event, again, you'll see a window to the right of your screen that'll allow you to type in a comment or a question to be presented to the Board of Supervisors. Please remember to list your name and address for the record. The township also previously provided an email address to send your comments or questions to the board. So at this time, have we received any comments or questions from our email options or live chat?
We have none at this time.
All right, well then we'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is the announcement of executive session. Earlier today at 3:30 p.m., the board convened virtually again to discuss 3 personnel matters. And I don't know that we need to take any action. It was just, these were all legitimate matters for executive session. And Bob, do you have anything to add?
No, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, I covered it. All right, terrific.
You covered it. Thank you.
All right, then moving on to agenda item number 6, consider approval of minutes for April 13th, 2020. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 7. Consider approval of access easement agreement, Whistle Stop Park. Bruce Shoup, Director of Planning and Zoning. Bruce, are you there?
I'm here now.
There he is.
The township recently received a request from the United States EPA to install 4 new groundwater monitoring wells at Whistle Stop Park. Decades ago, wells were installed at the park, but the various changes over the past, probably 30, 40 years, they're unable to find the existing wells, so they're asking the township to install 4 new wells. They're also asking for a temporary easement to store equipment on the site, which will be approximately 2 months. The wells are for groundwater testing and monitoring of the North Penn wellhead number 5, which is located in Hatfield Township near Bethlehem Pike. The area will be used, for storage, and then when the monitoring results are finished, then they'll provide the township with a copy of the results of the testing. Right now, there will be no equipment longer than probably 10 days. That'll be the drilling equipment to put the wells in. There'll be 4 wells, 1 by the tennis court, 2 on the outer edge of the joining property line with the AEL property, and then 1 well near the entrance coming into the park. There is public water on the site, which the township uses. and none of the residents within the area are on well water. Everybody was switched over decades ago to public water. So they're requesting this 4 monitoring wells and requesting that the township manager be able to sign on behalf of the board so the project can move forward.
Terrific. Any questions for Bruce?
I have a question. This is Beth. How will the public be notified about what the drilling is for? Like, will there be disclosure listed, any signage or e-news, et cetera, so that people can know what this is rather than being concerned that there's something weird going on?
We can put it on e-news, that the EPA will be going in to install 4 new monitor wells. There were 3 on the property. They're just unable to locate them.
Okay, that's fine. I just think that public disclosure is important so that people don't think we're doing something funny.
Yep, that's fine.
Yep.
Any other questions for Bruce? Okay. Be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery Township that we hereby approve the consent for access agreement with the U.S. EPA to install 4 monitoring wells at Whistle Stop Park. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, consider waiver of conflict for the Township Traffic Engineer to amend traffic signal permit for Welsh Road and Gwinnett Crossing Shopping Center. Bruce Shoup, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Thank you. A few years ago, the Route 309 AMC movie theater was rehabbed, and at that time, work was done at the intersection of Welsh Road and Gwinnett Crossing Shopping Center. This intersection is the responsibility of Horsham Township and Montgomery Township, and we take the lead role. So if there's a call, the township responds to it. During that time, the developer did work on the mast pole, the handicap ramp and mast pole on the movie theater corner of the project. Horsham Township did not require them to go to PennDOT to amend the permit. The developer, Goodman Properties, normally uses traffic planning and design as their traffic consultant on projects outside of Montgomery Township. Traffic planning and design is also the township's traffic engineer, and we're requesting the board authorization to waive any conflict to allow traffic planning and design to perform this work and submit it to PennDOT so we can get an updated permit and bring the intersection into compliance. And any items that are deficient, the developer would be responsible for repairs and the developer would be responsible for the billing.
And that sounds reasonable. You don't have any concerns with this, right, Bruce?
No.
No.
We've done this on other projects where it was in the township's best interest to have our own traffic engineer do the work versus their traffic engineer does it, then they review it and they tell them this is wrong and then they go back and forth. So this is the most expeditious manner and it's not costing the township anything.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Bruce?
So was it an oversight on these modifications or just because Horsham didn't submit them?
We don't think the developer notified Horsham. When I questioned it, okay, the response back was, well, we were outside of the right of way, so we didn't think we had to go to PennDOT. And I just advised them, I said, anytime you make any modification to a traffic signal, PennDOT is the controlling entity. So we're just trying to bring the permit into compliance.
Great.
Any other questions for Bruce? All right. Be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery Township that we hereby waive any conflict, allowing the township traffic engineer to update and submit to PennDOT the modification performed to the traffic signal at the intersection of Gwinnett Crossing and Welsh Road. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9. Consider update to township traffic signal specifications. Kevin Costello, Director of Public Works.
Good evening, everyone. Traffic Planning and Design, TPD, along with township staff, has updated traffic signal specifications for the township. The purpose is to update and provide design engineers and qualified traffic signal contractors with the general requirements for the installation of traffic signals and flashing warning devices in Montgomery Township. The majority of the changes reflect the rapidly changing technology and to maintain compliance with the PennDOT regulations. The recommendation is to approve the revised traffic signal plans dated February 2020, updated from 2019.
Any questions for Kevin?
I guess a general question, does this document belong to us? Is this ours? So if we change engineers later on, we want to tweak it, we want to do whatever, this is our property to deal with?
Yes, those are our specifications. That becomes our product.
Great,
It's similar to if you update your ordinance or you update a fee schedule.
perfect, thank you.
Any other questions for Kevin? Hearing none. Be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery Township that we hereby approve the updated traffic signal specifications dated February 2020. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10. Consider participation in the 2021 to 2023 Montgomery County Community Development Block Grant Program. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
Good evening, everyone. Every 3 years, Montgomery County is required to identify municipalities that wish to participate in the county's Community Development Block Program. The purpose is to establish the population base in order to calculate the amount of funding the county is going to receive from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. By participating in the county program, the township would be competing against other communities and nonprofit organizations within Montgomery County, and we have participated in this program since its inception in the late 70s. Conversely, we have the option of participating in the statewide Community Development Block Grant Program. However, that would increase the pool of applicants as we would be competing with all nonprofits and municipalities in the state. So staff is recommending that the board authorize the township to continue participation in the program for the periods of 2021 through 2023 inclusive.
Thank you, Carolyn. Does anyone have any questions? All right, hearing none, be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery Township that we hereby authorize the township to continue to participate in the Montgomery County Community Development Block Grant Program for the program periods 2021 to 2023 inclusive. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item number 11. Consider ratification of paid bills. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. And our final agenda item are department reports. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
You should have reports in your packet for all the departments, and if you have any questions, we can do our best to answer them this evening, or I can get back to you with any questions or any responses to any of the questions that you bring up.
So I had a question for Chief Wegman related to the COVID-19 response and the incidences in the township. If you could share some insight there.
Sure. The Department of Fire Services has been reaching out to our long-term care facilities, our grocery stores, BJ's, Costco, since March 17th. We've been making weekly contact with the businesses and the long-term care facilities for needs assessments and just seeing if we could provide any support. One of the long-term care facilities we did purchase masks for, PPE, because they were having a shortage. Most of the facilities now are reporting that they have the appropriate equipment. They also have been following the guidelines that have been passed down by the county and by the by the health organizations. So we have been in constant contact with them. We were aware of the cases that were reported in the media. That facility has taken the steps to mitigate the virus. They've been following everything that the county and the other oversight organizations have been requiring them to do, and everyone has been in contact with us. So from that point, emergency management wise, we have been providing whatever resources that we can, including equipment, to those facilities.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody have any questions for Bill?
No questions. Thanks for all the hard work you put in, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what about our chief of police? How are things over at the police department? Scott, are you there? Scott on the phone?
Chief Bendig was not scheduled as a presenter tonight, so he is
Oh.
observing the meeting and he doesn't have the ability to jump on live. But any questions, feel free to reach out to him offline. It's my understanding the department's doing very well. The chief has met with all of the squads individually just to go over things and see how things are doing from an operational perspective. As you know, we've brought 2 new officers on. They have finished their training and they are currently out in the field with their field training officers, and everything is going smoothly from the perspective of still providing top-notch law enforcement services in the township.
That's great.
Thanks for that update. I did notice in the incident report, we assisted someone in relocating as a result of a domestic violence incident recently, and with the assistance of Laurel House. I was happy to read that we were able to help them. I know Laurel House is reporting, increased incidents of, well, I guess, and a lot of agencies are recording increased incidents right now during the pandemic of domestic violence. And that's kind of sad to hear, I guess not surprising under the circumstances with people being confined to the home the way they are. But I just want to encourage anyone, if you're aware of anyone who is suffering in that way, please don't hesitate to reach out for help. Dial 911, contact Laurel House for support. And, if you are in a position and you can help out Laurel House, they're doing a fundraiser right now and encouraging people to donate generously because there's an increased demand for their services, unfortunately.
Children are at risk right now as well, so check out Childline and be aware of your surroundings with children whenever you see them out and about as well. There's a lot of things that Montgomery Child Advocacy Project believes will come to light once everybody comes out from their homes again.
And off of that, just with respect to, especially with incidents of domestic abuse, sexual abuse, things of that nature, the courthouse is still open for protection from abuse orders. Most of the operations in the Montgomery County Courthouse, as well as Bucks County, which obviously doesn't really apply to us, are closed at this point in time. But one thing that is up and running and is open every day and is there is to get orders for protection. So obviously, if you find yourself in a situation like this, not only are those resources available that Tanya and Annette talked about, but there's actually action that can be taken within the courts themselves, in addition to the action that can be taken on the part of the police department.
Thanks for sharing that information, Matt. That's really helpful. Is there any other business to come before the board right now? Anybody have any other thoughts that they'd like to share? All right, well, hearing none, I'll move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, terrific meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Stay
Be
safe.
well.
Mask up,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thank you.
Be well.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye.
Bye
Good
now.
night.